originally a teacher by profession. Then along the way, I've done a lot of things that took me to radio, worked with a number of NGOs. But what I do right now is I'm an independent social and behavior change communication consultant. I've worked with a number of organizations along the way, the Health Communications Partnership, Communication for Quality Foundation with Uganda, Center for Domestic Violence Prevention, PEST, Program for Accessible Health, Communication and Education. But now I run a consultancy firm, and it's called Amon Mulyowa Center for Communication and Programming, AMSEC.
Thank you. Now reflecting on the training we are having currently on social and behavior change, what are your highlights from the training?
A number of them. Let me, I could say, because we've been here for 5 days now, the biggest highlight I got from this was when we got to talk about setting objectives that people or someone who is working on social and behavior change communication needs to be aware of what objectives that they are setting. The objectives must be based on a problem identified, and these objectives must be SMART. Of course, the other thing that I also realized, or one of the highlights, was the idea that we do social and behavior change communication. But little do we realize that we set targets and objectives to hit, but not realizing that actually you cannot have people shift from the knowledge they have acquired and whatever you've taken them through without actually addressing the norms that are behind that behavior. So it was a very, very, very important highlight that for social and behavior change communication to work, people need to address the norms, because the norms on a number of occasions are the determinants of a behavior that you want them to change. Another thing that was one of the highlights of the training was yesterday when we came to developing the theory of change and the logic framework. Because everything that we are working on as social and behavior change communication practitioners is based on a problem. And that problem can only be addressed logically. The logic is that, yes, there is a problem of teenage mothers or teenage pregnancies. But what are we going to do? We need to think that if we did this, then this will lead us to here. And then if it led us there, what are we going to do finally? Of course, as I said, that the other one was the idea of developing the theory of change. The theory of change. And that's one thing that I've always had issues. I've worked on a number of assignments for local and international organizations involving social and behavior change communications strategies. And I've always struggled with the theory of change. This training here made me a better person at doing the logic framework and the theory of change. And I was telling my daughter yesterday that if anyone wants to do their work now, I'm better equipped and placed to do for them better communication strategies than I was before this training.
That how you apply what you have gained from the training in your daily work.
Thank you so much. The next steps, what I'm thinking of head right away is, apart from doing social and behavior change communication, people know me in this chapter for being a very good trainer. I want to reach out to the Makerere University School of Public Health. I want to reach out to the organizers of this training to come up with a plan of how we can have other partners, either under the USAID agency for all, but I'm told in Uganda it's not that active, but we could interest other partners with whom we can share this knowledge. And my idea is to have probably 6 months phased-in approach of rolling out this course. But of course, one of the things that I say is to work with the organizers of the training, identify or establish, come up with a particular curriculum. This is a curriculum for rolling out this training. And then we could do rollouts. For example, we could do online sessions, probably twice a week or once a week for partners who are interested, such that we can keep on multiplying the knowledge, that trickle-down effect, such that what we know here, other people get to know about it. Because let me tell you something, people struggle with social and behavior change communication. You go to organizations. Yesterday, someone just called me, we're having lunch, and they're like, I want to write a concept, a communication concept. Someone wants to know about what we do in communication. I was like, this is what we are doing here. So if we could have a phased-in approach of how we can roll out this information to partners, either on the USAID Agency for All or any other partner who is doing social and behavior change communication, but they actually do not know what they are doing and how to go about it. That is my plan.
Yes. My name is Darlene Sale Shamaki. I work with Core Group Partners Project Nigeria as a communication officer for the country program. Thank you. Good morning, Alex.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be here. And this is my first time coming to Uganda. I'm actually a Nigerian. So I would say the people of Uganda are homely and have enjoyed my stay so far.
Wow.
And then for the course, seriously, this is what I need. By profession, I studied mass communication. But when it comes to the implementation part of the humanitarian sector, I have let's say 5 years. So in terms of program aspect, I've gained a lot during the training, and it has beat my expectation, especially the participatory aspects, the exercise, coming together from different angles of life, different aspect of the experience. Everybody brings his or her own experience to the table, and at the end of the day, have a positive result. So each of the group that have been portioned by the facilitator, it has been wonderful because you get to see the program area from a different perspective. And so I'm somehow I'm a field-based person. So once the training is going on, the only thing that keeps coming to my mind is, okay, this is what I do in Nigeria, in my community. So I'm trying to like for example, the story of Mary and Joe, Rose and Joe. Okay, this is what's happening. So I try to put myself in Mary's shoe, or as a collective agency has been thought, so that, okay, how am I going to promote family planning? For instance, in Nigeria, my project has to be assistance strengthening. How we'll be able to reach under 5 children to have access to vaccine through their motherly caregiver. So the stories correlate. For Uganda, it's family planning. For Nigeria, we are trying to reduce zero-dose children. And then have as many children that we can vaccinate with vaccine preventable. So this training has given me another perspective on how I can actually bring the community to own the project. Mine is to coordinate, but let them own it. So if there is anything I can pick from this as a word, is having the community owning their sense of belonging. Let them be in charge. You as a programmer, you are just facilitating. You are trying to coordinate them on how to achieve the memory.
That's it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I am Elizabeth Kemiksha, and I serve as the Knowledge Management Associate at WIHA. I also serve on the Secretariat of the Africa Society of Social and Behavior Change. I enjoyed the training so much. My highlight, as an SBC practitioner, one of the paramount things is that you have to be able to learn and unlearn. So my highlight from this training is how we, agency and social norms, and of course gender, are very critical to how we implement our SBC programming. They are very, very critical, and they've been, or in most cases, either understated or not looked into so much. And yet they're very paramount, and they can create the change that we are looking at, and also enable the sustenance or the sustainability of the behaviors we are trying to advance. So I enjoyed seeing, first of all, the definitions of these different terms and how they are, the intersectionality. I found that components of the intersectionality very, very interesting. And then as we went on, the application, how SBC has been done, how we are doing it, and then how the facilitators kept on prompting us to think of these critical terms and how we can now implement them in our work, and how we can improve our work, how we can unlearn some of the things we've been looking at. For example, SBC practitioners, we are always looking at knowledge and attitudes. At any point, we're like, let's create awareness, let's create awareness. And yet many times we should be looking at the agency, the individual agency, and in some cases, collective agency, and in some cases, intersectionality. And those are things that we'll just run by and not give that level of reflection. So those were my highlights. Those were really my highlights from this training.
Thank you.
Because I really lead knowledge management at my place of work, I am going to now think through and also apply how we tell our stories and how we position our work. Because we have been doing issues around agency as a company and issues on gender. We are really a gender partner. a gender leader and a partner on very many very many projects. And we are leaders applying gender, Jesse in projects and in different interventions. I am going to look at how we can spell this out, how we can bring this out, how team members can see its application done. I think that is one of the things that I'm going to be critical, moving forward with my colleagues, is to ensure that issues on agency are prioritized and are brought out and are spelled out in our work. Another thing that I'm going to really look at is how we incorporate the other different frames. We talk about SBC and then say, okay, now this is what we are doing now. But what I've seen with this training is that all the other frames are also important. They cannot be left out, and that you can choose to do SBC, but also will bring in, when you have an emergency, when you have, something that needs to be tackled within maybe 6 weeks, something that is very urgent, you can bring in principles of risk communication, principles of emergency communication. You can bring those in. You can bring in IEC, even when we want to say that it doesn't work. In some of our communities, it works. So there's no reason for us to throw it out. So I've also seen that, and while supporting the teams and working with my colleagues, is one of the things that I'm going to bring in, that we can bring in all these different frames. They still work and they are still relevant, and we can unlearn some of our, misconceptions or maybe some of our thoughts on how these frames are applied and improve that, but also critical to how I'm going to be different as an SBC practitioner is I am going to now be very intentional about critiquing, about nudging us to think through intersectionality. So as a member now of the society, of the African Society of Social and Behavioral Change, one of the things that I'm going to, because it's a network, we're always, engaging, we're always interacting, people are sharing what they're doing, we are, sharing how they can do better. One of the things that I'll always bring to the table are those components of agency, intersectionality, and invite my colleagues to think through them and how they can improve their work and how we can all lead to better outcomes in our work, better development outcomes. Yes.
My name is Ivan Lukanda. I am a senior lecturer in the Department of Journalism and Communication at Makerere University. I teach research, I teach monitoring and evaluation, I teach writing skills, among other things. But I also teach other things such as the human rights, governance, and media.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Now looking at the course which we have which we are yet to conclude here, what are your key highlights of the course here?
The key highlights for me are that every time we think about a program, everything we are thinking about changes in our communities, in society. Every time, whether it's government, whether it's a civil society, or it's an NGO, or it's an individual expecting a change in society, then they should consider the norms, the social norms in that society. They should consider gender issues, and they should also consider issues of agency. Individuals able to change are they willing to change? They have the knowledge. But even after being aware of which change is necessary in society, it's important to know that their facilities or their resources or their people in society who are able to assist these people to change in the way they want. Yeah. So it's beyond just having the knowledge. It's beyond the awareness. We should consider the environment. We should consider someone's family, the environment in which they stay, the existing laws, the power relations in society that influence this person to change.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, as an academic and a researcher, every time I'll be thinking about a project, every time I'll be speaking to my students, I will ensure that we talk about the norm. We talk about the gender issues. We talk about issues of agency. How can individuals change? But what factors can facilitate this change to take place? But also in my research, when I am analyzing issues and I'm writing reports, I'll be looking at some of these issues so that I can incorporate them into my academic research. But also when I am advising individuals, because as an academic, people keep coming to you and asking for advice here and there. Organizations keep consulting you on certain issues. So this kind of knowledge is important to me as an individual. And I think that anyone who will consult me about issues they are facing in society or any organization where I may be consulted or where I may participate would benefit from the knowledge which I have gained during this week.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it has been a very good training. I have been able to interact with people from different countries. You have people from West Africa, people from India, from Kenya, from South Africa. And in all these communities, all these communities have norms. Yeah. There are norms in all these countries. Some norms are shared, but some norms are unique to certain societies. So it's important to know that norms have to be defined at all times, and we should also know that norms have reward. They also have functions, and there are people who influence the way these norms are implemented. So creating context at all times, creating context for a country, creating context for a community, creating context for an individual is important at all times if we need any change to take place.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I work as a researcher, senior research manager to be precise. Okay. And I've been working with an organization called Sambudhi, which is a monitoring and evaluation firm. And so my role is mainly with the public health vertical, and I work mainly in the projects which are associated with health systems and maternal and reproductive child health. Within my role, I lead evaluation and research projects with multiple levels and multiple agencies, including some international donors like USAID or UN agencies and World Bank, and some foundations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Ford Foundation and so on. Within my role specifically, I am as leading the research or the project coordinators. I am engaged from the very initial or the beginning process of the research, from writing or responding to proposals, and then handling each and every aspect of research. So I would be doing the recruitment for the training for the field and data collection, the formulation of the research questionnaires, the desk review, analyzing the data, as well as then reporting the results. So, and right now, one of my main projects is Agency for All, wherein we are engaged as an evaluation partner for the South Asia Research Hub. We are right now conducting an implementation research on respectful maternity care. And that is how I came to be here.
I think what went really well for me was it was a very good mix of lectures and interactions and doing those exercises, because we were often grouped together for people from different sections. So somebody who's a programmer, somebody who's a researcher, somebody who's an evaluation person. And that was really a good way of learning that I might remember more and retain more of that. I think that went well for me. Something that I felt could maybe helpful more for me, but was not really delved into, were some of the operationalization of measurement. So we were right now at a more the thinking, the theoretical bits of it, and and a lot more focus on programming. So if we could delve a little more into how to actually conduct some of the measurement or some examples of measurement, that might have been more effective.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for this time. It's a pleasure talking with you and having you in Uganda. Hope you enjoying the weather here. It's good. And getting time to move around here. The bad side of it that maybe you don't have much time here, so that you can be able to move other parts of the country here nearby. Ginger is more here and then
Okay. I wish I had more time.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.